Good morning. This is Shri here again, going to do the Final Four update um, for the college basketball championships. And this is a solo podcast. We had a lot of fun doing the NCAA Elite 8 and Sweet 16 matchup with one of my good friends, Dr. Dan Kessler. Due to the schedules, we were not able to record this podcast together, but maybe we'll try to do one before the national championship. But anyway, this is it. We are here at the Final Four. We have FAU taking on San Diego State University, and my alma mater, UConn Huskies, taking on the University of Miami. Let's first talk about the first matchup, FAU and San Diego State. This is a very interesting NCAA tournament. No number one seed, no number two seed, or even the 3 seed have made it to the Final Four. I think that's pretty unique in that itself. There's a lot of talk in terms of college basketball about how these teams, a lot of teams with a lot of upperclassmen, and especially with the COVID year where they get an extra year, a lot of upperclassmen have really gelled well for a lot of these teams and taken them to the Final Four. It's interesting. I mean, San Diego State 9-man rotation has 7 seniors and 2 juniors, and the only UConn Huskies are the only team with a potential first-round draft pick. But this has been a very interesting NCAA tournament for sure. So let's get to that. Florida Atlantic, which is the 9th seed. That is the youngest team in the bunch. A lot of experience, 3 starters who are great sophomores. They have done wonders in this tournament, beating Kansas State. So this is going to be a tough battle against San Diego State, which is probably one of the best defensive teams in the country. San Diego State, that they've done excellent. Matt Bradley, was the one whose free throw sent them to the Final Four, and Darian Trammell. They both started college at other schools. Again, the transfer portal, along with a lot of the upperclassmen, really has set these teams for a good future. And I think playing against FAU, FAU is probably the one team had a lot of. They only have 1 senior and 3 juniors, but their coach Dusty May thinks that his team has been playing together than actual playing experience. So I think that helps a lot. Interestingly, that team was only 19 and 15 last year. So definitely, they made a step forward. They have good guards, and I think they have Nick Boyd and Jalen Gaffney. So I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. And I definitely think that San Diego State, with the defensive experience that they have, may put them over the top in the first matchup. In the second matchup, my alma mater, the UConn Huskies, again very similar to a lot of the other teams, adding a lot of seniors, Tristan Newton from East Carolina and Aline from Virginia Tech, and also Joey Calcaterra, or famously called as Joey California. They've had immediate impact to the Huskies. Calcaterra is one of the best 3-point shooters. Aline has provided a good presence off the bench. Newton has had double-digit scores in many of the games for UConn. And they face a very familiar, I would say not a foe, but I would say a coach in Larrañaga, who's probably the oldest coach left in the Final Four. Larrañaga, if you remember, took the George Mason team to the Final Four, defeating UConn back in 2011, I think. UConn was riding on a high. They were predicted to win the national championship, but Larrañaga and the George Mason team, defeated the Huskies that time. This time it is going to come down to good guard play. Miami is, I would say, they came back against Texas. I did not think that with a 10-point lead, Miami would come 10-point lead deficit. Miami would come back against Texas, but Miami definitely played excellent in the last 6-7 minutes. Played good defense. They still have Isaiah Wong, who's probably one of the best players left in the tournament. They also have another guard in Nigel Pack and Omier. So they have a good, solid 3 players. And against UConn, which has got Sanogo, Jackson, and Hawkins. There was a little scare for UConn where Hawkins is still doubtful. I think something to do with the stomach. So let's see if that could be an issue. I would definitely favor Miami if Hawkins is not playing. But if Hawkins is playing, I think I have to go with the UConn Huskies. So I do think it's going to be UConn versus San Diego State, which was a matchup many years ago in the earlier rounds. But let's see if my prediction comes true, and hope to join you for the national championship the recap later in a couple of days. All right, with that, thank you so much for listening.